Something that we all struggle with from time to time is staying motivated. When you're in business, though, you have to stay motivated because you have to keep working forward. Business is about consistency, and this is where the two things kind of clash. What I have found is this: if you set yourself goals that are big, huge, enormous goals that are far off in the future, it's not necessarily good for the motivation that carries you through the day. What you need to do, and this is something I've learned and advice I was given by a very seasoned salesperson, was that they gave themselves goals that were one lead ahead, right? They said, you have to think. They told me, Jake, you have to think of goals in terms of you're running a sprint that's part of a race, that's part of a marathon, that's part of an overall triathlon, right? You are in this one thing that you have to accomplish. You have to put one thing, one foot in front of the other. In other words, one task has to get done, and then another, and then another, and then another, and they add up to bigger tasks that are part of grand strategies. If you work that way, if you set yourself goals like that, you're going to always be confronted with small victories as you're working throughout the day. And you have to reward yourself a little bit too. I've known people, that lived by the phrase carpe diem, right? They spent all their money. They blew every dime they had, and they were always broke. And I knew other people that saved all their money and never had any fun. You have to balance it out. You have to have a little fun sometimes too. And you have to take stock of the progress that you're making. So if you set yourself reasonable goals, you can stay motivated by looking at what you've accomplished at the end of a given week. If you accomplish one thing a day and you accomplish, therefore, a week's worth of work adds up to something, and then a month and then a year, time will naturally pass. If you're continually setting and accomplishing small goals, it adds up to a big win. That's how you have to think about it. Now, I'm not saying don't have big long-term goals. Everybody has to have big long-term goals. You have to set, goals for yourself that are far out in the future. Otherwise, you'd never be able to do the big things in life, like buy a house or have children or, big things. And to have those big things happen, though, you have to have victories on a daily basis. One of the worst things I see happen with people who are new to the industry, who are new to selling digital marketing services, new to white label reselling, just new to this, is they go ahead and they set themselves an unrealistic goal for their first goal. They say, I'm going to sell a $10,000 website, for example. And they might eventually sell a whole bunch of $10,000 sites. But if you set that goal that your first sale is going to be a $10,000 site, what people will often do is not call a whole bunch of leads, or they'll blow a whole bunch of deals because they're cherry picking that one monster deal they put in their head instead of taking the deals that are out there sitting right in front of them. That's a bad way to function. It's not a recipe for success. So take it from me. Set yourself reasonable goals. Be consistent in your effort. Really crucial. Being consistent really pays off. And eventually you will get your large goals accomplished. Be realistic the whole time. Rome wasn't built in a day. You're not going to go out there and day one smash a home run. You will hit many home runs. Think of this as a long campaign, a sustained effort. It's not a battle. It's a war. Go out there, work as hard as you can, get the sales that are there in front of you. Anyhow, that's going to conclude this video. And as always, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Like this video if you would, and feel free to comment below. Love to hear what you have to say. I'll see you in the next vid.